it's your local lady lender, Ashley here, to help you if you're a homeowner and you're going through an unfortunate situation where you're going through a divorce or a separation and wondering, what do I do about the house? So how you handle the house in these situations depends on one of two things, and that is whether or not the exiting spouse wants their equity or proceeds from the house or not. There are some instances where, depending on the divorce situation, that partner may say, I just want free and clear of this house. You don't owe me anything. That's not typical. Typically, you will need to pay them out their portion of some of the equity that they've built along with you. So let's talk about what those options can be. One option that a lot of people use is selling the house. So if you sell the house and you both agree to sell the house, the proceeds that you make off of that sale, off of what you still owe on it, can be split however you agree to, and then both parties walk away with their equity that way. So that's what we see a lot of times happening, where we help you get in touch with a realtor and you may choose to sell the house. Now, if one partner wants to be able to remain in the house and not have to go through the act of moving and changing everything, then you can do a cash out refinance to pull out equity that way to give to the exiting spouse. The downsides though of a cash out refinance, you do pay closing costs, just like the first time you bought the home, because you're starting a whole new loan, and your interest rate will be subject to what current interest rates are. So if you're one of those with what we call the golden handcuffs, meaning you've got that 2-3% interest rate that you hate to leave, a refinance of any sort will put you back into current interest rates. However, I also remind everyone, divorces are expensive. Attorneys are expensive. So if you have a way to negotiate this outside of the attorneys that works for everyone, the cost to refinance and to be clear of that may be worth it to you. You can also technically take a HELOC out on your home depending on how much equity you have to pay out that other partner. I honestly would not typically recommend this because HELOC rates can be 9 or 10%, and most people end up paying on a HELOC for a very, very long time. So those proceeds that you're trying to pull out, you could end up paying back double for that HELOC. So that's not typically what we recommend. Even though it may leave your primary home at its regular interest rate, the only time we would recommend that if you don't want to do a full refinance is instead of a HELOC, which can change interest rates, you do a second lien on your home, which has a fixed interest rate. It'll still be higher, but at least that's a fixed amortized rate that you know exactly what you're going to pay each month. Now let's say you're in the opposite situation, which I've helped a couple of people with already this month, which is where their departing spouse does not expect any proceeds and they just want to get them off of mortgage and title. You've got two options there. You can start with your servicer and see if you can assume your own mortgage and they will take them off of the mortgage, the note, if you can show that you can pay that mortgage by yourself. However, two things I warn everyone of. Number one, make sure they're actually talking about you assuming your current mortgage at your current rate. I did have one that I'm refinancing right now that she thought that's what the servicer was talking about. Then they started talking about what her new interest rate would be, and that's clearly a refinance. So some people I have had, they're able to just assume their own mortgage by themselves, take the other partner off. However, that does not take them off of title. So you will still have to go through a quick claim deed to take that other person off of title, or they will still have some ownership of the property itself. So you got to be careful there, and that has its own cost, so it's not free to do that process either. What we typically see happen though is we will do a refinance. So instead of a cash out refinance, this is what we call a rate and term refinance, which is where you're just changing over your loan, resetting it to whatever 30, 20, 25, 15-year term you want. You'll again be subject to current interest rates, but during that process, that other partner can be taken off of the mortgage and off of title at the same time. And especially if you do have a little bit higher interest rate, it may either not make a significant change to your payment, or it may actually bring your payment down. Let's say you did a cash out refinance recently to do some type of debt consolidation act, so your rate's higher. This may actually bring your rate down at the same time. So while we as lenders know that divorce and separation is never fun, it's never ideal, it can be a very sticky situation, we are here to help you in any way that we can to allow you the opportunity to either keep your home or give you the advice that you need of how to sell that home to be able to get your proceeds out. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me or message me. I'm personally licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and we have tons of other loan officers in our company that can help in other states. Hope that helped.